Hey y'all, my name is Taylor Anglad. Welcome to the Narrow. You can call me Tay, Taylor, it doesn't matter. Whatever you feel the most comfortable with. And the reason why I call it the Narrow is because Christ Walk is literally the road less traveled. It is a tight, narrow path that most people can't gain the strength or refuse to gain the strength to walk through the trials and tribulations, but knowing that Jesus is still on their side. A lot of people would be like, oh, Jesus knows my heart. God knows me. So he made me this way. So, I don't have to change. The narrow is for the people that realize God made you one way, but the world made you another. Therefore, you still do have to change in order to walk as if you are his child, to represent him properly. And that's actually what the first episode is actually going to be about, a true Christ walk. So I wanted to really focus on the word walk. I like it because there's different paces to it. So God will slow us down, he'll speed us up. Sometimes he'll even make us be still. And this is a point that I heard today in church. I had a great Sunday, by the way. It was a great service. My homegirl Ari, she sang her heart out with two people from her gospel choir at UCF. I did a poem. The youth and young adults, they really killed it this Sunday. But this, the way that God slows us down, speeds us up, or makes us be still, it really stuck with me today in service. He may slow us down. Sometimes it looks like rebuking us. So it's like, oh, no, no, no. I didn't instruct you to do that. I didn't instruct you to be that way, but you're just so on fire, or you're just like, well, I have this idea and I want to run with it. So we just start jumping the gun, thinking that we're doing so good, but we could be causing damage. Take Peter, for example. Peter, he was trying to cut the man's ear off. How many times did Jesus rebuke Peter, first of all? Because Peter was just always that one to be like, no, but you can't serve us. No, you can't kill this is my Lord. You can't touch him. And it's like, hey, how many times did he tell you that this is prophetic? This is part of prophecy he has to fulfill. But Peter is still shown as a noble disciple. But often that just shows us though that even a noble disciple often jumps the gun sometimes. So we have to slow down. And he'll help us or he'll make us slow down and truly see his plan, truly understand it. I've been slowed down so many times. I recently lost my dream car, the K5, and it's a K5. I'm gonna be so honest. I used to be straight through the streets of Orlando, just zoom, zoom. The people that you're yelling at in traffic, that was probably me. And God was like, one, you're idolizing this car. You got it. You had it for 10 months. That's all you need. Two, how many concussions have you had? Four. How many accidents have you been in? Five. So what are we doing here? Why are you driving so recklessly? I did not steward the blessing in the way that I was supposed to. I just took advantage. And so he slowed me down. Car ended up getting totaled. It wasn't my fault. I got rear-ended, but at the same time, I needed to slow down and learn to have more faith in him as well I'll say that's a whole other story. Learn to have more faith in God. And I was in a rental for 3 days. Then Geico was like, hey, you have 1 day to return the car or you have 2 more days to return the car and then get a new car, or you just won't have one because we're paying only 13,000 out of the 22 you owe. And I'm like, what? So I'm calling all these places and I'm like, no, like God already told me to slow down. I was already allowed to be hit. My car was already totaled. Let me slow down before I total out my life, total out my bank account, and see what I can do. I could not find the gap paperwork for nothing for the life of me. And nobody knew who my gap coverage people were. So I slowed down, prayed on it. I had so many people praying over this. And finally, I got a car from Enterprise. My coworker, well, she's really my homegirl, but we also work together as well. But she told me about Enterprise, that rental, they actually have a sales portion. So I went and bought my car from Enterprise, and then all of a sudden Capital One's like, hey, we found your Gap people, and they're gonna pay it out. Oh, I'm like, oh God, you just needed me to lean on you and slow down, not trying to handle everything myself. Because if we take control, that's like trying to take authority over God. God is in control, not me. Who is Taylor? So I'm like, okay, I learned my lesson. Slow me down. I get it. I hear you. Fast. When he speeds us up, or when life just speeds up out of nowhere, this isn't saying you're in a rush. This is me talking about when things happen all of a sudden. That big jump where it's like I went from earning $10 an hour to all of a sudden now I'm making 18 an hour. And one second I'm making 18 an hour, now it's 26 an hour. And it's just like, whoa, like these are stuff that's just handed to me. Are you ready for that? Like you really need to be ready to steward those blessings, because when it happens, you can't treat a $10 an hour fast food job the same as you're going to treat a full-time $26 an hour job. Especially as a young adult, it's like we tend to have Gen Z, we are so guilty of this. It is insane to have this the mentality of they'll be all right without me. Yes, take your mental health days. I promote it so much. Take your PTO. Like you earned it. Use your PTO. Don't be like the boomers where they just work 73 hours a week. And it's like, nah, take PTO. But at the same time, don't be late every day. Give work your all. Again, I'm guilty of this as well, but I know quite a few Gen Zers who were just like, they don't pay me enough for this. Well, what if you didn't get paid at all? We need to we need to realize we got to store the blessing. We prayed for this. We prayed for this job. We prayed for this moment to be able to afford where we live right now. We prayed for the moment to be able to do the things that we can afford now, travel as much as we can. So we need to steward it. When it comes to being still, it always comes to mind. Psalms 46:10. Everybody knows he says, "Be still and know that I am God." But what about the I will be exalted among the nations, I'll be exalted in the earth? Silence, let go, and acknowledge his sovereignty. When he's telling me in that moment where I was in that rental car and I'm just crying my eyes out, I'm screaming, like I'm screaming worship songs. I'm not even singing at this point. My throat was hurting. And I'm just like, it was a moment of just be still. I will never forget. Jordan G. Welch came on, and it was How Much More. And then literally next on my playlist was Never Gonna Let Me Down. He's Never Gonna Let Me Down. Oh man, I probably butchered that title. I cannot do song titles, but it's playing in my head right now and I would sing it. But God did not give me the gift of singing. He gave me the gift of words. Sorry. But yeah, it just that those songs literally shut me down from crying. I just paused out of nowhere and I'm like, let me be still for a second. God, like you're in control. I give it all to you. You're sovereign. I know you're going to work something out. I work too far from home. I just moved into my new apartment, even further from my job. You got it. The bus system doesn't run through where I live. You got it. I know you're not going to, Uber is high. Lyft is high. We don't have taxis in Orlando like that. So you're going to work it out. I know I'm not going to be left alone, and I wasn't. In a matter of a day, before my 2 days was up, I was in a brand new car, 2025. Nice SUV. I don't even have kids, but I took the SUV. It was cheap. It's nice. It's 2025. It got this specs and that specs. And I'm like, thank you, God. Even if he put me in a simple putt Toyota, I would have just been happy to have wheels. But this car, I love a good road trip. I know I could throw my friends in the back of it. Let's go. And I can't wait. I can't wait because my boy's birthday's coming up and we're going to New Orleans and we're taking that road trip. I'm excited. But my second point about a Christ walk, the word, because I title it A True Christ Walk. So we went through walk. We all know the word Christ. I'm hoping, right? If you're on the Christ walk, I'm hoping you know Christ. But true. The reason why I put true in there is because it's something serious. Like this is not a game that we can just sit around and play. This is not something. It's not a light switch where we could turn it on and off. It's not a T-shirt where we could take it on and off and change it. And it's not a mask where I could wear a mask to church. Necklace is backwards. Where I could wear a mask to church and then I take it off for work and then put on a different mask to hang out with my friends. No, a true Christ walk is 24/7, even in my sleep. John 14:6. God is the way, the life, and the truth. Not quoting it directly, but that's the essential of it. God is the way, the life, and the truth. If we are on a true Christ walk, we need to be walking in truth. I cannot be living a lie. Forget me telling lies. I shouldn't do that, period. We all know that. That's one of the commandments. But I shouldn't be living a lie. I shouldn't be living a double life. I came into agreement with these terms and conditions. God is absolute pure in wisdom and moral perfection. I need to be walking in that light. If if people from church see me walking in that light, but then people from work see me walking a completely different path, how would I be on that narrow path? How can I even say that I am like I am God's child? I'm not representing him properly. Enoch walked so well with God that he literally ended up walking with God straight into heaven. Just walked with him all the way through. If we listen to him, we can't be steered wrong. I don't think I can go any more in depth about that without going through another one of my 1001 testimonies. But if you just stop and listen to him, that's where the be still portion becomes so crucial. Life is fast. Slow down. Be still. Listen to what God is telling you to do. He gives you discernment. You have received the Holy Spirit. He gives you discernment. He is speaking to you loud and clear. Often things are so much in our face, but we're trying to move so fast and look around the sign, and it's like it's right in front of us. Let him steer your way. But you got to first hop in the car. Okay? This walk, again, is something super serious. That must have been like a very serious point to me because I said that twice in my notes. That's but to truly walk with him, you have to submit to his plan, which means you need faith. And this is what I was talking about earlier. Faith is the agreement and trust in his plan, knowing that it's for the best for everyone involved. Whether you like it or not, God's plan is going to happen. It's going to be put into action, whether you want it or not. Whether you deny it or accept it, it's going to happen. So that's not easy because we want our desires so much. We desire to have so much, but you have to be willing to sacrifice those desires for destiny. That is what faith is. I am agreeing, hey, I want my house to be pink, but God may say it's brown. God, I want to be a surgeon, but he may say no, you're a lawyer. God, I want to step into pastoral ministry. That's not what he gave me. So he may say, hey, no, you're actually going to be an evangelist. I have to come into agreement with wherever he's leading me. And that goes into submission of letting him steer my life. He's in control no matter what, anyways. Why am I trying to take? Have you ever been in a car? I hope not, but have you ever been in a car that's losing control and the steering wheel is just like burning your hands? That's literally what your life is. It's just going straight through. I almost moved the mic. I need to order my new mics. I need to decorate this new house too. But it's just going straight through your hands. You're not having control anyways. And once you get a good grip and you try to turn it, the car is going to flip. Why are we destructing our lives so heavily just because we can't submit to what God is telling us to do? Come into agreement, come into acceptance, and I promise you it won't be easy, but a lot more things will be smooth. And finally, my last point, I'm making this clip very short. Walk with others. That's not in the title, but a Christ walk is not alone. Yes, I have Christ on my side. And I'm talking fellowship, y'all. I'm talking community. I'm not going to lie. When I first came back to Christ 4 years ago, the best thing that could have been for me was a community. The thing that I needed most was a community. But I didn't even know where to start. I didn't have anybody. And then when I found certain communities, which I thought was a young adult ministry, or I thought they were serving God, it would just be like, nah, like they end up doing some crazy stuff. They're living that double life. They're not living the narrow path. I'll say that. And we're called into discipleship. That's a non-negotiable. Jesus actually gave us that command. And when it comes to following Christ, therefore, we're also called into some fashion, into some level of evangelism. We do have to spread the gospel. Now, it may not be your calling, but we are all called into discipleship and evangelism to some extent. When you disciple somebody, and I want to touch on this so bad because after I finally got to fully indulge in my walk with Christ, I found another community, great people, but I found this new church. And this discipler, she was leading people in the wrong path. And I'm so glad that God brought me there when I was at that point in my life because I was able to discern, no, this is not the place for me. She straight up told me that I wasn't a Christian because I didn't go through the same process as she did. And I was like, how are you going to, you're there, you're trying to take control of my life. That's insane. You're trying to take my wheel from your car, but Jesus still has it. That makes no sense at all. But she was like, yeah, you're not even a Christian because you didn't even go through this certain process, but you didn't go through this process of coming back to Jesus the way that I did and so many people I know did. And I'm like, I mean, do we not have a unique story? At the end of the day, regardless, I did get discipled. I did get baptized. This is just this is me finding a new community because I was looking for something new, for looking for fellowship, looking for people my age. Hey, now I was just like, and it's not even that I needed a new discipler because I was still in contact with my original one. It was just that in conversation, it just so happened to be there. And I love that they did small groups because that's what I came to realize so many people in that church thought like that. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm good on that. But when you disciple someone, you have to lead by example, but also be honest about many things that you'll have to face as a Christian. And that was also something about her. She did not fully lead by example because she was still celebrating Halloween. With her family, like everybody did it. She was still doing a lot of worldly stuff, still drinking. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. But hey, my discernment was up and it was time for me to go. My time was up. Many positives are faced as well. Like we always focus on the positives when it comes to following Christ. Like, oh yeah, you'll have protection, hearing from God, an overflow of blessings, freedom from bondage of sin, peace. People always, yes, I'm so glad you mentioned that. That's great. But you have to be honest with people though. Like even if you're not discipling them, newcomers in Christ, let them know there's sacrifice. You have, like I said before, you have to sacrifice your desires for destiny. Let them know that there's spiritual warfare. Many people run away. They run away from the faith because they're like, I don't know what just happened last night and now I'm scared and people aren't explaining it to me properly, so I'm just going to go. I'm going to leave it alone so I never have to face it again. And it's sad because whatever they faced that night, whatever spiritual warfare they went through that night, it's just lying dormant in them or around them for the rest of their lives. We cannot keep losing people in the kingdom because we are not knowledgeable or wise. Knowledgeable and wise. Rejection. It comes with so much rejection and shedding. I put these two together, rejection and shedding, because we know the world's against us. We know the world is not for Christ, never has been. but shedding. We will end up losing friends and family. Jesus said he is here, pin father against son, brother against brother. I can't fully I can't fully give you that whole scripture, but it's in Matthew. He's there to put people, not to literally split families apart. Of course, he wants to remain together. Hopefully, we can all move as a unit. But saying that to say that there will be people who fall off, and you have to be okay with that. We cannot sit there and hold on to people that will be dragging us down because they pull us from that narrow path. Bad company corrupts good moral character. Yes. Sometimes, guys, we have to realize, and I feel like a lot of Christians feel like we are superhuman, but negatives outweigh the positives in math, right? So in life, if God did not call you to be there, I got to make sure this is loud and clear in the mic. If God did not call you to be there in that set of darkness, get out. Because that means you cannot be a light. You are about to conform into the darkness. If all your friends are hanging out on the block, shooting dice, smoking, and you're trying to be the light, that is, hey, I love that. I love that you are trying to bring your people there. Time and place are a major thing. Well, I know you hear that a lot. Oh, there's always a time and a place for something. It absolutely is. It's in Matthew 18, verses 15 through 16. Read that. But the time for me to go and try to spread the word to those friends who are out on the block is not when they're smoking, shooting dice, and it's nighttime and you know what they get into. The time for me is when they call me and I'm like, hey, what y'all doing? And they're like, oh, we on the block. And I'm like, oh, I'm reading my Bible. Blah, 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 blah. Let me tell you what I'm reading. That's my time and place. Sorry, I cannot be there with you. And eventually, either they sink or float. I'm not going to lie. Either they come or they don't. Friends come and go, guys. We cannot hold on to these people of the world because we cannot carry them up the stairs to heaven with us. That's dead weight. That's literally, actually, a word like Lot's wife. She looked back on Sodom and Gomorrah. She was holding on to her past life. After she was given the instructions not to look back, she looked back anyways, turned to a pillar of salt. Because she was preserving, salt is a preservative, by the way. She was preserving her past life. Stop preserving your past life. I know you want to keep your friends, and I know it hurts. Friend grief is a real thing. It's such a real thing because, like, oh, we've been through so much together. Or, oh, we got so close. We had all these laughs, and you were over my house every day. We shared so many meals and so many stories. But at the same time, you are not healthy for me anymore. If that hand is causing you to sin, cut it off. Last thing is fellowship, or second to last thing, my bad. Fellowship. It's a wonderful thing to have. And I learned to meet, and I learned to love to meet people, build relationships, and experience with them. I love going to a good conference or like a good event. And it's like, okay, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to speak to new people. And I'm going to see how I can connect with them, see where they're at. Where's their heart posture? What fruit are you bearing? What type of person are you? I'm a why person. I'm, man, I was always the kid who asked why, and the people just yelled at. And I was like, I'm sorry. I just want to know why you think like that and what made you do that. But through that, I figure out so much about people. I figure out how to treat them. I figure out what makes them happy, what makes them sad. And it's like people have sat there and opened up to me before, and I met you like 20 minutes ago. It's like a new hobby of mine. I get why my grandpa does it now. Honestly, I can leave him in JC Penney for at least 2 hours and know that he's going to be standing right there where I left him because he's talking to somebody. He's evangelizing to somebody. I don't know. I'm going to get there one day, but probably not today. Now, the last thing I do want to talk about with a true Christ walk is accountability. The point of community, yes, it's to grow the kingdom. Yes, it's for me to learn. Yes, it's for me to be able to have like minded people around me to grow with, but it's also for them to help me stay accountable. I can't grow if they're not holding me accountable. They can't grow if I'm not holding them accountable. Shout out to all the young adult groups that I'm a part of now: Christ Walk, Fire and Flow, everybody that I have come in contact with as a young adult group, because there's like 30,000 in Orlando. Love y'all down so much, because even though I can be one of the older people in the group sometimes, it's like they'll still teach me stuff because wisdom has no age. And they'll still hold me accountable for things, just as I hold them accountable. Otherwise, if you don't have that accountability, you end up, or your whole group ends up dipping back into the world. They end up stepping off that narrow path. And that's the last thing you want to do as a young adult ministry, or as any ministry, to be honest. But thank you for coming to the first episode. Hopefully, by the next episode, I'll have my decorations from Amazon. I'll have my new mic. And y'all have a great Sunday.